I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
What do you say, Ken? Good.
Today is Tuesday, June the 6th, 2023. Time being 6 p.m. The meeting of the Water Board is called to order. This time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that's available on the back of the table, the back of the room, I'm sorry. Donna's unable to be with us tonight. She had the passing of her mother recently, so the board would like to extend our deepest condolences to Donna and our ongoing thanks for all that she does for the water company, for the community, for all of us. So our thoughts and prayers are going to be with Donna this evening and going forward. With that being said, I'll offer a roll call. Pat Kennedy. Frank Massey. Here. Brian Maddox.
Here.
I am obviously present. Tony Higginbotham is absent tonight. I think we got our minutes. Mr. Massey, Mr. Minutes expert. Anyone else have any additions, corrections to the minutes?
None, sir.
If not, thank you. They'll stand approved. Any old business to come before us tonight? None. We'll move into new business. That's you, Rick?
That's me.
All right.
Good evening. I got 2 more employees. Who I brought with me tonight is Ellis Bulger. We hired him shortly after we started doing this last year. I tried to do it in alphabetical order, and we hired him a little bit later, so I'm going back and picking him up.
All right.
Ellis was born and raised in Bartholomew County. He attended and graduated in 2004 from Columbus North High School. After graduating, he attended IUPUC and eventually transferred to the University of Southern Indiana. Ellis married his wife Claudia in September of 2021, and they currently reside in Hope, Indiana. Ellis also owns his own power spraying business, Peerless Exterior Cleaning. So if you need any power spraying done, I know where you can get it.
All right. We'll get his number here in a minute.
Ellis enjoys camping, hiking, gardening, and of course spending time with his wife. Ellis formerly worked for the Columbus Wastewater Utility, acquiring a Class 3 wastewater license through the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. He came to the Greensburg water plant in May of 2022 as a water plant operator. From the day Ellis started, he has been one of the most inquisitive operators we have had, always wanting to learn and study different treatment techniques. No matter time of day, night, or weekend I've needed him to work, he has always made himself available. He's definitely been an asset to the water plant, and I'm glad to have him aboard.
Very good. We appreciate having you. We appreciate what you've done, and you're young enough. We're going to appreciate a lot more of good things to come from you moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
All right. What's the best part of that job? What do you love the most?
Well, I like to, what comes to mind is to do something that has a lot of value, responsibility, serving the community, and I like the, well, coming from wastewater, okay, I like the biology of it. With water, it's more chemistry, so it's interesting.
Okay, that would be interesting. Yeah. And what drew you over here to Greensburg water?
Well, you know, from Columbus, you know, and a lot of people, I guess, like the area out west. And I've also got an interest like in agriculture, you know, just really small. That's why I said gardening. But you know, out east there's more space for that kind of activity. So I guess I've kind of been looking east for a while. I like the town as far as the kind of going from very small to a lot of recent growth in the past decade, and then plus seems to be that from what I've noticed, well, I'm sorry, that's not what you asked, but
No, you just keep talking, we're not hearing from you.
I was just wanted to add that, since I've started, that I really like the way things are done,
So Rick's an okay boss then, is what you're saying?
yeah.
Yep, very good. All right. Well, good to have you. We built a brand new water plant for you not that long ago, so hope you enjoy that. And
It's
we
a nice
appreciate-
facility, yes.
Yeah, good to hear. Right, Darren?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you again. You've been with us 1 year, I guess, officially, so hopefully we get many more out of you. And thank you for all you do and all you're going to do for us. Thanks for coming tonight. Thank you. And I always tell everyone, you don't have to stay for the meeting, but it's going to be a short one, I think. But you're welcome to stay. All right. All right, next thing on our agenda of new business, Darren, come on up.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I got before you is a scope of services for evaluating your existing south tank or the downtown tank, the silver one. They're off of Ireland Street, south of Ireland. Kind of a little background. Rick came to me a little bit ago about looking at what needs to be done to that tank. There was an inspection done, I think, in 2021 by Dixon Engineering to kind of give an evaluation of the condition of the tank. Most of you can look at that tank and tell that the coating on the exterior is starting to show its age. I'm really not sure how old that coating is. The tank itself was built in somewhere between 1952 to 1955 or 56. I'm really not, it's somewhere in that era, but it's roughly 70 years old at this point. I do know the interior of the coating has been upgraded, but I believe that's probably approaching 20 plus years as well. So what I put together here is kind of a scope of services, and it's kind of doing an evaluation to kind of look at what the current condition of the tank, kind of evaluate that, using Dixon's study inspection reports, and then we'd also look at what improvements need to be done to bring it into current standards, that being both IDEM and AWWA. There's some safety issues, some things. From what I can tell, there's some minor things, but there's several of them, so they're going to kind of add up from that. And we'd also look at kind of evaluating. It does have lead, so that's going to be a major factor in anything we do as far as recoating. To give you an idea, the sample they took came back at 5.8% by weight of lead. The limit is 0.0025. So it's not a case where we're right on the border that we can maybe not have to deal. You're going to have to deal with the lead. So what we're going to look at, besides looking at the remediation of and trying to bring that current tank up to standards, we will also look at possibility of maybe it makes more sense at this point to look at a new tank. So we'll evaluate a couple sites for that. We'll put together, because we do have the model, we'll be able to model, if you have to remediate that tank's going to be out of service for an extended period of time, probably closer to 6-8 months. We'll use the model, try to anticipate what impacts that has to, specifically the downtown business as far as fire flow. Rural water has a connection point on Southwest 60 that could be impacted. And I also think this tank kind of serves fire flow for some of the industries on the west Main as well. So we're kind of looking at what impacts that would have if that tank is down for an extended period of time. So we'll also develop some planning estimates. I should have told you that. If you look at page 7 of the thing here, through that as I speak, so, but that's where most of this, that's where the bulk of the discussion is. Everybody should, Robin, you have 3 copies for signature. So, and then putting all that together, we'll develop some cost estimates to kind of do the evaluation of what makes the most sense moving forward. And we'll put that all together in like a tech memo, about 15 pages. Overall, we're anticipating somewhere in the neighborhood of about a 130-hour effort. So kind of, as far as the schedule goes, we anticipate, if we get a notice proceed tonight, that we could have this done and wrapped up in about 2 months. And then, as you do, I've explained the scope, the schedule, and of course the big one is a fee. We got a cost of about $27,000 to do that work. Any questions?
Got a lot of questions down, but you answered them before I got them finished.
Well, that's good then, huh?
That's good, yeah. Frank, you're our expert. What do you got to add? Anything?
The lead is currently covered with several layers of silver paint, so it's not like it's exposed. Either you're walking by and get lead on it. It's been coated several times, so that's way
It's
down.
encapsulated, but
Yeah, it's way, the first layer of paint. But he's absolutely right. I mean, the cost of removing and repainting out a 70-year-old, it may be more costly than building a new and having the tank down for 6 or 8 months. So that could stay completely in service while you're building a new one. So that's why he's going to do that impact.
That would be one of the bigger advantages to building a new one, with that the existing one could stay in service. There wouldn't be any issues with fire flows, and you'd be able to handle all your current things, and it would just build, some offline, so to speak. And then when you want to bring the new tank in, it's pretty quick to, the downtime would be minimal, and then you would start the decommissioning of the old tank at that point. I do know that there are some other site challenges. There are some electric lines within 30 feet of the tank. And with the lead, you're going to have to what they call tent the tank. Frank can probably explain that better than me, but basically if you've ever seen a tank, it looks like it's got a big drop cloth over the top of it. They would have to do that to try to contain when they go to abrasion of the lead coating as well. So more than likely those electric services would have to be temporarily relocated, so there's some additional costs. That's probably going to have to be done either whether you remediate the existing one or decommission the existing one. So, but the time frame could be quite different on that. So.
Okay. Location of the streets and electric lines could be challenging for both.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Darren?
So is that tank currently not in compliance with current IDEM standards, or?
There are a few, it's a few safety things. For example, the ladder itself is in good shape as far as meeting the safety. It does not have a vandal guard on it. That's one of the recommendations. Another, for example, is the hatch is a 24-inch in diameter, which is fine for any personnel going in it, meets AWWA standards. But if you were to have somebody get hurt up there or inside the tank, and you had to have a rescue crew come in with a basket will not fit through that. So those are some of the things that's when I talk about safety, that they're concerns, but they're not imminent, life-threatening type of thing.
That thing has a current vandal guard of the first rung of the ladder is 30 foot off the ground. So nobody can get up there anyway. So they just want a piece of aluminum to cover the ladder, which is not really going to do anything.
So some of the requirements aren't necessarily the most common sense type of thing, as Chris just pointed out.
They may be safety to some.
And it doesn't have a paint rail at the top or a handrail at the hatch at the top, but again, only people going up there, somebody that should be going up there, so they're aware of that as well. So.
Yeah, none of those are. Like
None of those
either,
are any.
No.
Yeah, they're just, like I said, they're minor, but I think there's probably a half a dozen or more of those type of issues that.
That'll be minimal dollar amount if you had to add those to the paint's going to be huge. So.
Yeah, the coating and, taking the coating off and repainting is where, and I would probably, right now, the report was done in 2021. It recommended that the interior be recoated within a 5 to 6 year period. I would suggest that if you're going to do the exterior, you do the interior at the same time. If you're going to have the tank down, you have it down, you do both the interior and exterior at the same time.
So do you risk the integrity of the tank with it being, 50 years old, 60 years old, with doing that demo, redoing the inside and the outside?
Until you the inspection report didn't show anything that was it had a lot of spot where the coating had failed. It didn't say anything to the degree that it was, requiring major structural issues at this point. So.
And the good thing is it's been maintained and it's been coated, so the steel hadn't been exposed with huge amounts, so it's protected pretty well. I'm sure both are.
And the spots that are starting to see some, is where the painting has started to fail. It's delaminated a little bit, and the coating is chipped off, and that's where you're starting to see some of the rough spots.
We've always done a good job of keeping our equipment in use for many, many years. And I think we all knew that just someday we're going to have to look at this. So, and it might be the last big piece of our whole system that we've not completely renovated or made new.
Yeah, and then one of the other things we'll do when we do it, the current tank is 500,000 gallons. When we run the model, we'll look if it makes more sense to maybe upsize to get a little more. When that tank was built in the 50s, the downtown and surrounding areas looked a whole lot different than it does today. So maybe it makes sense that we should have a little more storage in that area of the system.
I don't think Rick painted anything up there. Probably not.
Rick, what?
You didn't paint anything on the water tower, did you?
I don't believe so.
Rick, do you have anything to add on this project?
Me and Darren met, and I've got 100 questions, but I'm just anxious to see what the hydraulic model shows. Because I'm really concerned about West Main, especially if it's gonna be down for any length of time.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Mayor, anything to add?
Nope, all good.
Very good.
And that's a big impact that Darren brought up the other night too, about being down 6 or 8 months. There's a dollar factor involved in that.
Well, honestly, we have had broken mains on West Main before that shut down industry out there, so we take that tower completely out of service for that long. I'm very concerned about it.
All right, any other questions? No? Board, what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we accept the HNTB's agreement for professional service.
$27,000.
$7,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye. All those opposed? All right, that carries. There you go, Darren.
Thank you.
Couple of months, we'll expect you back.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you've got 3 copies there.
Okay.
If you get those signed, I'll take one and you guys can keep 2.
That's it, Darren?
That's it.
All right. Rick, anything else from you tonight?
I don't believe so.
No? Mr. Mayor, you have anything to bring forth?
No, sir.
Nope. Very good. Hearing nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you much.